Thanks so much, Mark. I'm happy to be here, and I wanted to start with a song um, in honor of our Parsha. It's Bo this week, which means come. So this is one line of a song by Noah Aronson, and the text is, "Come, come, however you are." So however you are, you might welcome yourself as we land together. You can sing along or just rest. Come, come, however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, come. Come, come, however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, come. So you might touch in with the heart. Maybe for the first time today. And see what's there and see if you can welcome it. Welcome. Come. Come, come, however you are. Come. Come. Come, come, however you are. Come. Come. Come, come, however you are. Come. Come, come, however you are. Come, come. Dee-dum, bye, la 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 la, oh, beyond words. Yeah, 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 la 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 la, la la la. We don't need to know what to call it. Hi, la 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 la, hi, la la la. Come, 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 just as you are. So welcome again. Our Parsha this week starts with this word, starts with this command, bo. It's an unusual phrase. God says to Moses, bo el Paro, come to Pharaoh. This is not lech, not go to Pharaoh, as we might expect, but bo, come towards what seems most frightening or most hardened of heart. So it strikes me that this is part of what we do in our mindfulness practice. In some ways, this is the core of our practice. We try to come close over and over to what's happening, to get intimate with this present moment, with reality. And sometimes it's quite frightening. It feels like coming to Pharaoh. So part of our practice is settling the heart enough and settling the mind enough that we have some stability to do this, to bo el Paro, to come to the hardened places inside of us. There's a beautiful teaching from Rabbi Nachman that illuminates this for me. It might come up on your screen soon. Rabbi Nachman is this 18th century Hasidic master who wrote openly about his struggles with sorrow. And he teaches that the very word for difficulty, the word kashya, contains within it the first letters of the verse, Shema Hashem koli akra, hear God, my voice, cry. So he says the very word for difficulty contains the initial letters of the verse, hear God, my voice, cry, from Psalms. He says, without this spark of faith, you would not cry out at all. And this cry can also bring you to faith. So it seems to me he's suggesting that a part of faith is being with the cry, is coming close to that cry. And he suggests that the very act of turning towards difficulty or turning towards a cry contains within it too the seed of faith. So without some spark of trust, we wouldn't cry at all. And it's even more trust required to come towards it. So to me, this means that part of spiritual practice is this move of coming towards, of turning towards difficulty, Boel Parel. And we know that the word emunah actually shares a root with the word to practice, lahit amen. So this getting close to what might hurt or to what is here, what is hardened, what is kashya, what is difficult, is a practice. It's a practice. It's hard. And so part of mindfulness meditation is like doing our reps. We're like exercising towards growing in our tolerance, in our welcome, in our fearlessness, in our stability that makes that possible. So Rabbi Nachman, he's modeling this trusting of the process, this trusting of the moment, whatever is in the moment, no matter what the moment brings. And each time we bow, each time we turn towards rather than away, and welcome fear, welcome sadness, welcome joy, welcome whatever's here, we're expressing a deep form of faith. We're practicing faith. This sort of practice of like faith in action. So we'll sit together with this practice of coming towards. And you can begin by settling into the body and breath, closing the eyes if you like, or kind of softening the gaze. And just sensing all the movement in the body that becomes clear as soon as we come to some stillness, this breathing body, this energy body buzzing and vibrating. And you might soften the face, soften the hands, feeling the chest rest a little bit. And the belly might get a little softer. And the attention might land gently like a butterfly touching down on this breath. I'm not forcing anything, but not needing to do anything, lead anywhere. Just in this posture of following this breathing body as it breathes on its own. And this relief of just letting go, not needing to fix or control. Just keeping it really simple for now, this humble practice of noticing each breath, not the idea of meditation or the idea of the breath, but this breath here. And this one. And as thoughts arise, emotions arise, physical sensations arise, there's no need to push them down, yell at them, yank the attention away. We might practice saying, "Oh, Bo, come. I see you and you're welcome here." And then just returning to the breath in the foreground with whatever else is arising, fading a bit into the background. Until it raises its hand again. I'm here. Can lovingly smile at it. You say, Bo, Bo. You're welcome here. And return to this breath. And we'll sit practicing like this, practicing this faith of a kind for a few minutes. you'd like, you can turn your attention to the space of the heart. And see if there's an emotional tone present there. You can check in with the heart. Either welcoming a label for whatever feeling, sadness, contentedness, anxiety, or skipping a label and simply turning towards the texture, the felt experience of whatever is here in the heart. This tightness, this warmth, this buzzing, whatever experience, and welcoming that too, maybe with a hand on the heart or with these words, Bo. And this practice of coming towards requires a supported heart, requires holding the heart feeling held, which can allow us to be a little more fearless. Like it says in Psalm 112, Samuch libo lo yira. Rabbi Shefa Gold's translation is heart supported, fearless. So in this welcome, really holding the heart. I've got you.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Your beautiful, beautiful practice for today. Friends, we seal the practice by holding space for those of you who are in mourning, those of you who are grieving, whether you have a yard site at this time or you're currently in a mourning process, or if you'd like to join in the mourner's cottage, you're welcome to do so, particularly on this International Day of Holocaust Remembrance. And to put the name or names of anyone you're honoring today in the chat. I'm honoring the memory of my father-in-law, Stephen P. Cohen, today. Others people might like to add in the chat. You're welcome to do so either now or after we recite Kaddish. And if you're joining me, please rise in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Miraba,
Amen.
Yama, Diva,
Amen. Yehesh me Rabba Marach Le'alam Balmei Almaya.
Yitbarach, Yithadar, Elam, Yirata, Vishirata, Kushbadata, Benechamata, Amiran, Ba'alma, Amen.
Amen.
Shalama Rabba Mishmaya, Shalom Biramav,
Shalom Biramav, Shalom,
Yoshvei Tevel,
Hebrew.
Amen.
Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. For those of you who are in mourning, we send you blessings for comfort and support in your time of loss. Very moving to see the references to family members who perished in the Shoah and the Holocaust in the chat, and comfort to all those who mourned as well. If you're leaving us now, here's our lineup of teachers for the rest of the week. A beautiful week of practice. Rabbi Joshua Boddicker will be leading us tomorrow. Wednesday, Rabbi Jenny Solomon. Thursday is Rosh Chodesh Shvat. Spring is coming. And Sarah Waxman of At the Well, as always, will be here to lead us for Rosh Chodesh. And on Friday, I'm very delighted that Rabbi David Jaffe will be joining us from Boston to lead us to sit into Shabbat together. And I'm putting a link to Noah Aronson's song that Chloe shared with us so beautifully today in the link for those who are interested, and you can find more on Noah's website. Thanks to Rachel for holding our tech space today together, as always, beautifully. And you're welcome to join us, either just to sit with that practice, turn off the sound on your computer, or join us for conversation, or share any reflections on it in the chat. And if you have a question, please write question all in caps, and I'll keep an eye out for that and try to work it into the conversation. Thanks, Chloe. That was wonderful. And also, maybe we can put Chloe's Substack link in there too as well. It was a nice shout out from somebody who is already a subscriber. And Chloe said that this is, I don't remember exactly what words you used, but something to the effect of the connection between this idea of coming, which is inspired by the beginning of the portion, Lo El Paro, come to Pharaoh. And I just want to invite you to just for starters, invite you to elaborate a little bit. What do you mean by that? What's the connection between coming to and mindfulness, the way how you were describing that?
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that in our practice, we're constantly coming close, coming toward what's happening. The practice isn't about necessarily cultivating anything in particular, other than attention and awareness for what is here. Mm-hmm. So sometimes there's a misunderstanding that the practice is only about being growing and being present to whatever relaxation or positive or kind of pleasant emotions arise. It's actually paradoxically about the transformation comes in an acceptance of what is actually here instead of fighting against. So there's something that was speaking to me in the practice about not going anywhere in particular, but actually coming towards something that's quite scary, Pharaoh,
right.
whose heart is famously hardened. So how to do that?
Yeah, that's great. A couple of questions on that. One is, in the lyrics of the song, is it right that it says "Come whoever you are," and then
Yeah, it's a lot of different. Okay, come whoever, come
whomever.
wherever, come however.
Right. I was thinking about this, it brought up for me this little bit of distinction. I was thinking, it made me think about Rumi's Guest House poem, which is about welcoming, right? Welcoming whatever's knocking at the door. And I was thinking, well, this is a little bit different. Coming, that there's it's a little more active to come to rather than welcome what is arriving. So, but also like that chant, that song is about kind of inviting the guests to come. That's why I was wondering about, like, is it an instruction to us to come? Is it an instruction to that which is there to come towards us? I don't know if there's a distinction there. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Totally. I mean, probably both. I think different parts of that are probably accessible at different times. This practice of like either welcoming something in, especially something that's difficult, or actually turning towards it and coming towards it ourselves, like a more active stance. Both, I think, require a level of stability and safety.
The support, well, what you were talked about at the end when you brought Shefa Gold's, was it Samuch? What is it?
Yeah, Samuch libo is the Psalms with libi, she says in her chant.
Right. I really love that. I love the supported heart and needing that stability to be able to do this, because it's the Bo El Paro, the bow is one thing is to say come, that's right. But then a Bo El Paro, come to that which is really, Pharaoh represents an archetype of that which is difficult here, right? Not just a character in a story. But here's a question from Lori, which I'm sure is on lots of our minds, which is about when to keep inviting in that which is difficult and when to give ourselves respite from it. A lot of us are struggling with news intake and how to it's a challenge. It's always a challenging practice, but particularly today, these days, it might feel even more so. So I don't know, what do you think about how to have that kind of balance?
I think
sometimes just shut the door of the guest house and say, like, not today, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a practice of discernment, knowing when and how to invite in things that are difficult that are arising in practice. And I think it's a skill that kind of discernment that takes time to develop and is very individual. It's like a teacher can kind of instruct you in different ways. And also, I think it really comes down to practicing and seeing what the heart needs in different moments. I definitely think that the receptive piece, the welcome, as opposed to the more active piece of coming towards, is the place to start. And even beyond that, I mean, the first instruction I gave was around sitting with breath and stabilizing, and then just noticing what arises. Can come as a sort of like receptive instead of closing the door, which tends to grow whatever is happening until it does pull our attention. Like there becomes like a fight with it. So some version of receptivity, but actually returning to breath. So not investigating, analyzing, or really turning your attention fully to that, but actually a welcome that then it does fade into the background. So it's subtle.
Can you say that one more time? So that's to take the breath. It sounds like basically to kind of gather the support that one needs to open the door. I'm really stuck with this kind of door opening, like the tap on the door. You say, open the door, but like if you keep the door closed, it gets more insistent, right? Um,
Right.
but nurturing oneself, which made me think the other thing that came up for me that was interesting for me was thinking about other places where that verb comes up in our tradition, like during Lecha Dodi at the end, when we see Bowie, we say Bowie twice, but we welcome this Shabbat queen, at the end of Lecha Dodi. That's really the welcoming of Shabbat. And if you combine it with this Bo El Paro, right?
Mm.
You know, I really feels like there's something in what you're saying there about in order to really be able to have the increase our capacity to do that, whether it's an external paro or an internal paro, really need to welcome that Shabbat uh,
Mm.
awareness. I'm just trying to I'm riffing off what you're saying. I really
Yeah.
feel like, or the strengthening the heart, say like, oh, this is like for us to say, oh, this is too much. I can't handle this, whether it's about ourselves, like
Right.
some really painful awareness about ourselves or painful awareness about the world, to be able to recognize we're being flooded at that moment and we don't have the support we need. And maybe that's the moment, to take a breath or say, like, I just need to, I'm not right now, and then come back to it. That's what I'm getting from you, like a little bit of a dance between those two,
Yeah.
you know?
Totally. I think that's really that was a beautiful kind of like mashup of two bows. It does feel like the whatever Shabbat consciousness or kind of like heart supported consciousness can still remain in the foreground
Mm-hmm.
as we uh without pushing away like what else there is. So there's a way in which actually everything can be held
Mm,
together, but knowing which should be in the foreground, which the heart is actually open to receiving.
right. And that really is the practice, right? I mean, is that awareness of what our capacities are in the moment, what needs to be met. And even when we feel like we don't have the capacity to know it's there, and I'm still playing with the door, like keep, um, Rumi is kind of suggesting, no doors on the guest house. It's always open, right? And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, good to have the door, maybe sometimes good to hang out the no vacancy sign, right? Or full up here. Um, but always to answer the bell and say, is there space right now? Right. But I love what you offered in terms of, I really like very taken by the Shefa Gold, piece there about supporting the heart and feeling, because I think so many of us are feeling heart sick, heartbroken, anxious around the heart, fearful. Um, and the courage, that really the kind of hearts, that it's nice that the phrase for courage in Hebrew is ometz lev,
Mm.
strengthening of the heart, to be able to have the courage and resilience to come towards that which is difficult. Maybe say a little bit more about that. Maybe we can, Rachel, if you have it handy, can you screen share the Nachman quote again? Oh, maybe we don't have time because I really want you to do another round of the song.
One, one thing I'll say about that I think
Yeah.
relates to the Nachman and also relates to what you're saying is that I think the antidote to fear or to a heart that doesn't feel supported is love. And
Mm,
the thing I love about the Jewish meditation tradition is that it has so much prayer influence that
mm,
like prayer, I think, is a reaching out for love and is a cultivating self-love and is a, maybe like just the motion of this feels so central to prayer. And Ravi
mhm,
has this piece about like cry out, which feels like
uh-huh,
a sort of prayer. So I mean, in meditation land, it feels like a practice of blessing practice or actually actively welcoming in something in particular, maybe hanging the like not no vacancy for a particular guest, saying I see you there, and then inviting in some words of prayer, some words of blessing is a way of supporting the heart that then creates the conditions for mindfulness.
yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thanks. All right. How about if you don't mind, how about one more round? That'll be a lovely way to close out today. Thanks so much.
Come, come, whoever you are, come, 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 wherever you are, come, 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 however you are, come, 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 however you are, come. Come, ya la la, hi, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la, hi, come, 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 however you are, come, come, whoever you are. Ya la la la, ya la la la, di da da da, hi 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 ya. Come, come, however you are, come, 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 however you are, come, come.
Thanks so much, Chloe. This beautiful practice today. What a wonderful start to this week. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Rachel. Thanks to each of you as our community of innkeepers here. A little bit more skillful after today, hopefully, and wonderful to be with you. Let's look forward to practice tomorrow with Rabbi Joshua Bodiger, everyone. See you then. Many blessings. Take good care.